All right, we got to move along to mine. Chances are you've seen this horrifying video out of Yellowstone National Park. It's gone viral. Let's see if we can pull it up right here. 65-year-old grandfather getting thrown in the air. All right, so he took his grandson on an annual trip to the national park. After dinner, the two decided to take a walk and enjoy the scenery. You see them off there in the distance taking photos. The grandfather, that is, was rushed to the hospital. You're going to see the bison attack, which sent Carl McDaniel flying through the air, tossed around like a sack of flour. Let's see if we got it right here. All right, so you're going to see him running in a second. So they had spotted the bison rolling around in the dirt like you just saw, being a wild animal. The two were about 100 yards away. They took the picture. They continued their walk. And that's when the bison charged. Earlier in this, okay, wait, here you go. Thrown in the air, several feet. So if you go back to the start of that video, you're going to see a truck that drove past. The driver, while there's no audio, laid on its horn, possibly trying to get the animal to move out of the way. Well, that's really when things took a turn. The bison, possibly startled or agitated by the horn, charged toward the pair. McDaniel told his grandson to run in one direction while he took off in the other, hoping to distract the animal so the child could get away. Then, as you saw in the video, the bison headbutted the 65-year-old. You can only imagine how much that must have hurt, knocking the wind right out of him and causing injuries that most people couldn't even imagine. But the photographer who captured the attack on camera says he immediately ran over to help, screaming and yelling in an attempt to scare the bison away. McDaniel was hospitalized, but miraculously wasn't as seriously injured as you might expect. He suffered a broken femur, keep in mind the toughest bone in the body, shattered in 4 places near his hip. Despite that, though, and some serious bruises and quite a bit of pain, he's in good spirits. He underwent surgery this weekend and is already up and moving again. In an interview, he said he was thankful the animal didn't hurt him even more, saying, quote, "When I was on the ground immobile, unable to move, he was right on top of me. He could have stomped on me. He could have gored me. He could have done almost anything to take my life, and he did not." Now, the National Park Service says visitors should stay at least 25 yards away from bison at all times and never approach the animals. McDaniel and his grandson appear to have been far enough away. They estimated they were about 100 away. So they were following the park's guidelines and being respectful of the wildlife. That said, the National Park Service recommends carrying bear mace or bear spray. If a bison follows or charges you, officials say use the spray if necessary and find cover as quickly as possible. By the way, this does mark the second bison attack in Yellowstone so far this year. Pretty incredible and amazing that he is okay.
Terrifying.
Yes.
Terrifying. Listen, nature and these wild animals can absolutely be, they are absolutely beautiful. They are stunning to look at, again, from a safe distance. However, even when you are at that safe distance, there is always the risk because they are wild animals.
Yeah.
And when you see something like that, when I initially saw this, my first thought was, what were those people doing wrong? Why were they so close to the animal? But they were following the rules. They were following the guidance. And, you know, I'm certainly glad they're okay. But I hope this gives those that take those stupid risks pause.
Yes.
To say, maybe I shouldn't do that. Do you remember, this is probably 2 or 3 years ago, there's that video of this family, I think they were somewhere out in Colorado somewhere, and the 2 teenage or maybe young adult women took a baby black bear out of a tree, pulled it off of a tree to take pictures with it, then set it down. And the authorities and wildlife agencies there couldn't determine whether that black bear ever made it back to its family or what happened to it. It's not something to play with.
It's not Disney World.
No.
It's not an amusement park.
No, these aren't puppies.
That being said, from what we've seen and from what we've read, the 2 people involved here, McDaniel and his grandson, again, did nothing wrong.
Yes, did nothing wrong. Absolutely.
Anything like that. They were like really close to their camping spot, a picnic spot. as you saw in some of the videos there, it was a well-populated area, but it's Yellowstone. You have wild animals roaming about. Like, you know, I saw some people in the comments saying like, oh, that animal should be put down and blah, blah, blah. And come on now.
No.
We're in their home.
Yeah, literally.
We're in their home.
They were here first, and we're just visitors.
Yep.